backgrounds come together, interact, share ideas, and they manage the working environment. In the fast-moving, modern, globalized world, using intercultural communication is very crucial for a leader to maintain the leadership in a positive manner. So as employees and leaders are coming from different cultures, they might differ in languages, culture, beliefs, and many things. So using intercultural communication, leaders can solve all these problems and keep the working environment smooth and neat. Also, they can improve the standard and the working environment of the culture using the intercultural communication.
Purpose of intercultural communication. Moreover, intercultural communication is where the more of different culture and language people come together at a point where they interact with each other, share their knowledge and information. Over there, now we are going to say about their purpose. The main purpose of interculture is to respect other culture, no matter whatever the status or anything is. They have to respect and give them a value and avoid misunderstanding between others. Like if we come from different place, the language also may differ. Over there, if for example Palti over there is telling in English, but I'm a person who only know Malayalam, I may lack what is the trying to convey, what is this idea or what is the message trying to convey to me. Avoid misunderstanding and try to improve a good relationship between them. No, we need to improve a good relationship between them so that in future case we can build a business or we can tie up with them. We can go travel with them so that it will be mutual benefit for both the people and it will be respecting other culture also in a way.
So here we come to the intercultural communication in the key elements. So key elements, what are the main key elements? Is nothing but culture, communication, perspective and context. Here the first one, culture. Culture in the sense each and everyone comes from different types of culture. The people who came here presenting were from different cultural people. Malayalis are there, Hindus are there, Muslims are there, Christianity is there. There are different kinds of cultural beliefs and every talks about it in India, most probably in India, very much in India. So here when it comes to communication, so many beliefs, customs from the other people is also known here. For example, I am a Muslim, I do namaz 5 days. I tell about what is it to the other people in the communicative way, so that they also understand. I might talk in Urdu which other person is not able to understand. He might talk in Tamil which I am not able to understand. So here when it comes, although we have difficulties in the beginning, as communication builds up, we might have a very good and open communication with them. So the next one is perspective. What is perspective? Perspective is nothing but I have an opinion which others might not be okay with. They might not be okay with. Opinions and perspective differs from each and everyone. Opinions are not same. I might like this color which suits me. They might not like that color because their perception or opinion is different. That is the second one, perspective. Communication, as we know, when we interact with intercultural people, we get to know different types of languages. For example, a word. Come here is in English. Angapo or anything. Malayalis tell it in a different way. Arabic people tell it in a different way. Hindus tell it in the normal way. Or anything. When we interact, we get to know the languages of others, the small words which we can communicate with. And the fourth one is context. Context here, it can be formal or informal. You may type and send in a digital form, write and give it in a normal way, or you can communicate it directly to people. And then comes the types. What are the types? As we all know, non-verbal, verbal and written communication. Here verbal is just we talk. The way I am talking to you now is the verbal communication. Non-verbal is nothing but you show expressions, gestures to people or eye contacts to people is what is called non-verbal communication. The way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk, the way you show hand movements, everything comes under the types of communication that may in depth connect something. That is called non-verbal. Then the next one is written communication. As we all know, something you write and send it to people. Something which requires pen, paper and other stationery items which you have to write. It takes lots of time and it takes efforts to write and send. This is what is called actual types and the key elements in intercultural communication.
So some of the barriers of intercultural communication are language differences, lack of cultural awareness, and anxiety lack of cultural awareness is when a person is not aware about certain cultures, is what we call as lack of cultural awareness. And prejudgment is when before talking with the person we will automatically judge them. Is some of the barriers of intercultural communication and language difference, where there will be different languages